This Tuesday, voters in Georgia's 14th district will decide on a replacement from MAGA firebrand and former Trump loyalist Marjorie Taylor Greene. The unexpectedly competitive runoff race is between Trump-endorsed Republican Clay Fuller and Democrat Sean Harris, with Fuller heavily favored to win because, of course, it is a deep red district. The race will serve as an early test of how voters in one of the most pro-Trump districts in the country view his handling of the war in Iran, an issue that even local GOP activists say is a major concern. With us now is one of those candidates, Democratic congressional candidate for Georgia's 14th district, Sean Harris. Mr. Harris, thank you so much for joining us today. One of the things I think that's so interesting about this race in particular, one is that you were in a runoff, which seems like there's a little more competitive than folks thought it was going to be, which I'm sure you're happy about. But also, the loyalty to Marjorie Taylor Greene in that district is real, right? If you're someone who's been to the district, like I did this in over 2024, and talked to folks there, they are deeply tied and loyal to her. She has moved away from Donald Trump in a real serious way, and it feels like that gives you, at least you believe it gives you, an opportunity here in a way that it hasn't before. Is her old district moving in the Marjorie Taylor Greene direction away from Donald Trump?
Well, I would tell you, first of all, good morning. A lot of things have changed since 2024. You're right. Marjorie beat me, and that's in the past. But the reality of it is now, as you mentioned, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Donald Trump had a nasty divorce, and it's still going on. And here in this district, what makes it different is now Sean Harris, the name Sean Harris is known by everybody throughout the district. I am respected. People know me as a farmer. People know me as a retired general. So everything that's going on in the world right now is saying to the people here in Northwest Georgia, Democrats, Independents, and Republicans, we're going to give Sean Harris a chance. And the reality of it is this race that we're doing right now is neck and neck. And Clay and I, we both in a turnout race between now and Tuesday on Election Day.
When you were out on the campaign trail, what are the issues you're hearing about from constituents?
Yeah, the number one issue in our district is the cost of living. Everything is extremely too high. As you know, the tariffs are having great effect on all of our small businesses. But in addition to that, our district, or my district, is actually 100% agriculture. Number one thing is agriculture. Our farmers are hurting, and as a farmer, I'm hurting when it comes to this war that we're in by now by choice. And what I mean by that, diesel fuel and fertilizer is completely out the roof. So that's the number one. The second issue is health care. Inside of our district, we have hospitals, but we don't actually have the doctors, nurses, and specialists inside our hospitals. So we basically live in a healthcare desert. And then the third piece that actually everybody's talking about right now is what makes us unique is from Dalton, Georgia to Rome, Georgia, all the way down to the Gulf Coast is PFAS. That's a forever chemical that's affecting many people in our district with cancer and everything else. And they asking me when I get to D.C., Sean, do something to help the people here in Northwest Georgia. And I promised them that I'm going to do that, and I want them to hold me accountable.
Mr. Harris, I'm glad Jonathan asked that question because I'm wondering, when you're on the campaign trail, when you're looking at the Venn diagram of Marjorie Taylor Greene's policies and your policies, if there's anything that you overlap on, because I imagine if you're ultimately going to win this, you're probably going to have to pick up a few disenchanted, defected Marjorie Taylor Greene voters who are upset with President Trump.
Yeah, I'm not going to say I'm going to pick up Marjorie Taylor Greene voters. What I can tell you what I'm doing, I am picking up Republicans that says, look, I'm a Republican. I'm not down with MAGA. The Republican Party has left me behind. What I will also say about Marjorie Taylor Greene is this. Marjorie Taylor Greene 2.0, which is today, the one that you see on The View, the one that you see on CNN, Marjorie Taylor Greene talks about the cost of living being too high. Marjorie Taylor Greene talks about health care and insurance. Marjorie Taylor Greene talks about this war that we're in, that's a war of choice. And Marjorie Taylor Greene talks about the Epstein files. All of those things that I just said right there is 100% Sean Harris, the moderate Democrat. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, who she used to be, now Marjorie Taylor Greene 2.0 has moved her position toward me. And that's why people in this district are voting for me, because now we got away from chaos and we got back to common sense. and that's why they're going to be voting for me on Tuesday.
But you're not trying to appeal to any voters who voted for Marjorie Taylor Greene 1.0?
No, I'm trying to appeal to everyday, hardworking people in our district. And on top of that, I am appealing to what we call just everyday, common sense Republicans or Ronald Reagan Republicans that say, look, right now, today, or yesterday, the president just asked for a defense bill that's the highest one in our entire lives. Bottom line is, nobody cares about the debt anymore. And those are the Republicans that are saying, Sean, we want you to go to D.C., fight for us, bring businesses back here, bring down the cost of living, and give us some health care. Those are the Republicans that are voting for me, and we're going to pick up roughly about 20%.
Mr. Harris, you mentioned that you are a farmer. Recently, the White House had a White House Farmers event. Jaron Keith Gaynor at the Griot writes this: for them not to invite us, they're really saying we don't want you to be a part of this administration at all. That's from John Boyd, the founder and president of the National Black Farmers Association. Yeah. They apparently did not invite any black farmers to the White House for this event. We have covered and have talked to John Boyd on this show, and black farmers, just like in the country overall, if white Americans get a cough, black people get the flu, and that seems to be the same issue dealing with farmers right now, where as all farmers are struggling, black farmers are getting it double or triple. What's your reaction to the president and the administration not inviting any black farmers to their event?
Yeah, I think the president and his team made a very bad mistake on that. I saw what John was talking about that a few days ago. But I will say this, farmers are hurting across the board. Like you said, I am a cattle farmer. I've been a farmer all my entire life, was raised on a farm in Southwest Georgia. And you're right. When it comes to black farmers, when it comes to minority farmers, when it comes to indigenous farmers, when it comes to women that's in agriculture, this is a very hard business. And this business that we're in now is making it even worse with the tariffs, is making it even worse with the war that we're currently in. And on top of all of those things, by cutting that, I think it was $300 million they're cutting out of these projects to help minority farmers buy additional land. These are the farmers that actually grow the vegetables. These are the farmers that actually do the food to table type situations. Most farmers that are large will actually grow commodities, and those commodities go to a place called China, and then China sells us back pork. So those things that they are cutting off, right now, it is actually going to have great effect on America, because those small farmers are the ones that actually feed America at these farmers markets.
Sean Harris, thank you so much, and good luck to you, sir. And please, next time, let's talk about the teleporting FEMA official at the Waffle House is apparently in your district.
Yes, yes. Look forward to talking to y'all guys on Tuesday night.